Okay, so thank you very much, and it's good to be back. Um, so I continue to be Martin Wynne, so I won't say any more to introduce myself. Um, you're going to hear this morning from me and my co-authors, Megan and Karina. Um, we're very pleased to come and give you this presentation. The UK joined CLARIN ERIC as a full member um, this year after a long history of being involved from the start of CLARIN, having been an observer for nearly 10 years. Um, Today, we want to say a few things to focus on how we fit into the national digital research infrastructure in the UK and see how CLARIN UK fits into that. The context of this is that while we haven't had in the UK a digital research infrastructure roadmap based on the S3 process, as many countries have had, that there have nevertheless been some developments doing it our own way, as we like to in the UK, um, and developments towards a sustainable and joined up digital research infrastructure, DRI, as everybody likes to call it now in the UK. Um, and the focus of this has been very much on creating a sustainable, more joined up system, with definitely with a push at the moment towards more federated data storage and processing and um, federated computing services, and also quite an important focus on the role of research software engineers, promoting career development for them and promoting professional roles within research infrastructure. So at the moment in CLARIN UK, we're kind of part of this. We're part of this picture. We're part of the conversation about very much what is an emerging digital research infrastructure. Um, so within this context of the general digital research infrastructure, there's a particular program for the arts and humanities, um, which goes under the title of IDA, Infrastructure for Digital Arts and Humanities. And within this program, uh, it works across a range of disciplines, and our CLARIN Centre at Oxford provides the repository for literary and linguistic data sets. It's an infrastructure that started with existing repositories in with ours, but also the Archaeology Data Service, and has also been moving towards scoping studies and then setting up new data services. So there's a new museums data service, and others are under development. So we're kind of well positioned alongside data repositories in other disciplines like archaeology and in the GLAM sector. At the moment, we have limited funding. So we have funding for the repository for the Oxford Text Archive, and Megan's going to tell you more about that. But we don't have specific funding for the CLARIN UK consortium in general. But as I say, we're kind of we're at least part of the conversation and well positioned to get more funding. I'm going to hand over now, actually, to my colleague Megan. She's going to tell you more about the UK consortium, which features many members that many of you will know, and who we work with and are part of our consortium. And then after Megan, Karina Rodriguez is going to tell you about another part of the IDA program. So IDA covers us and various data repositories, as I've said, but also a digital skills training program, which Karina will tell you about after Megan.
So hi everyone, it's really great to see you all. I'm here to tell you a bit about CLARIN UK, which is obviously the UK node of sort of the CLARIN consortium. These are all of our members. It's a network of linguistic research centres in the UK, some of which I'm sure you're already familiar with. There's of course the British Library. There's also the NLP research group at the University of Sheffield. There's School of Critical Studies at University of Glasgow, the Centre for Translation Studies at the University of Leeds, and so on. And we really use this network to share opportunities and information between one another, coordinate events, and work on building collaborations. So, a cornerstone of the CLARIN UK infrastructure is the Oxford Text Archive. As Martin mentioned before, we often refer to it as the OTA. The OTA was founded in 1976 when text encoding was, just starting. And it's going to be turning 50 actually next year, which is really exciting, making it potentially the oldest continuously running operating archive of digital resources for literary and linguistic data. So we're really, really proud of that. It contains over 70,000 resources from a range of time periods and languages. Um, and of course, it's funded by the IDA program to kind of act now as a national repository for the entirety of the UK for people who are developing literary and linguistic data sets. And we also help with things like training and support for people who maybe aren't familiar or maybe aren't aware even that what they're doing is, working with data. And we, help guide them through that process, help teach them how to format their data and, how to prepare and plan their projects. However, the OTA is also integrated into CLARIN infrastructure. It's a CLARIN C center and it runs off of CLARIN DSpace, and we're trying to do the DSpace upgrade as well, which is really exciting. And all of our records can be found through the VLO. And we think it's really, really important for the future of UK language resource infrastructure that it's really integrated into European systems, just to ensure, the wider impact of UK research, but also to facilitate international collaboration. So in addition to the OTA, which is our repository, uh, well, it's the repository activities rather of the OTA. The OTA also helps run our CLARIN K Center, DRLib, which is stands for Digital Resources for the Languages in Ireland and Britain. And this is a collaboration between Cardiff University, Dublin City University, University of Edinburgh, Lancaster University, and of course Oxford. And here, we are running a distributed help desk to provide information about digital resources for the native languages of Britain and Ireland. These are some of the languages under our purview. Obviously, it includes English as well, but given that, English has quite a lot under it, is maybe not quite as interesting as these ones. We have a particular interest in Celtic languages and under-resourced languages more generally, including, of course, things like Irish, Welsh, Gaelic, some Scots, but also historical varieties and regional varieties. So, as part of our work on the Case Center, we've been identifying digital resources that are relevant to these languages, and then we're making steps and plans to incorporate them into the Oxford Text Archive and thus make them, known to Clarin as well, and building up those resources. So these are just a list of some of the resources we've found so far. We've got a blog post listing them that we're going to continually update, and these are some of the ones that we've incorporated into the OTA. In addition to this activity, we're also searching for more members of our network to kind of build our expertise on these languages. And so to do that, we've been organizing loads of events and attending conferences kind of in the field. So this past year, we organized a panel in collaboration with the UK and Ireland's Digital Humanities Association. So we were there at their conference to talk a bit about these resources and talk a bit about digital workflows when it comes to languages. And this work we're finding is really useful in yielding interesting outputs because we now have a pilot project kind of based on the work of the K Center. Unlocking AI for the languages in Britain and Ireland. We had a poster on this yesterday at the bazaar, some of you may have seen, so I won't talk about it for too long. But basically, we're just trying to gather some AI skills training materials, and we're trying to get them all together in one place and make them more accessible to everyone, but also repurpose them a bit and apply them specifically to the under-resourced languages and to resource creation in those fields. But I'm going to stop there. Karina, please carry on.
Thank you, Megan. Hello, my name is Karina Rodriguez. I come from the University of Brighton, and I'll keep to 5 minutes. So this follows from the part of the IDA, which is about developing digital skills. So again, we have seen a lot of interest, following from the conversation in the previous talk about AI and digital methods. But we know that this is not always so simple for people because they lack the infrastructure, or sometimes they lack even the skills to identify, what or how can they deploy this for workflows in research. We have done a lot of scoping about the needs of the community, and I think I heard somebody mentioning in the previous talk about sometimes people don't know what they don't know. And this is the hardest bit, right? For people to identify what are the skills that they are lacking and start being signposted to the right training that they will benefit from in order to deploy those methods. So I have here one of the answers where people say, well, I didn't know what kind of training I needed, or I did not know where to reach out for that training. So within the IDA program, they have funded for the last 3 years, 4 years, pilot project, which are about developing skills. And there were four pilots focusing on various areas. The pilot that I was leading was on visual and material culture. So we did a lot of digitization of images, but also three-dimensional models, or even motion capture, so that it goes into different modalities for creating, managing, and using and sharing this digital media. Um, what we did is we focused very much on developing training for trainers, right? So it was this train the trainer approach, because our idea was that if we can develop data sets, infrastructure, and methods to train people that will take on this training and deliver to others, it will be a way to maximize the impact of our initiative. So we have developed a set of materials that we have now passed to the Daria campus on these different skills that are for using multimodal data within research processes. And we have received follow-on funding to scale this up. So what we have now is what we call the DISCA, the Digital Skills Network in the Arts and Humanities. And this is about broadening up access in the community for accessing high performance computing. So not only bringing the skills, but being able to deploy these methods in HPC. So within this idea of training trainers, we are going to develop, or we are developing this 2-year cohort program in which we will recruit up to 12 fellows that will develop exemplary use cases of how to leverage high performance computing for arts and humanities research. And in here we look at broader this subdisciplines. So we have projects which are about media, but we have also projects which are about literature, and we have projects which are about music. So we look at arts and humanities research more broader, and we engage with academics, RTPs, so research technical professionals, or practitioners which are in GLAM institutions. So we're about to launch our second call. We now have, these are the picture of the fellows that are this year, but we launch our call for the fellowships that will start in 2026, and they are 12-month fellowship, and they involve professional development. So we engage these people in training. So we identify with them a curriculum of skills that they will get. We develop that training, but also we give them hands-on support to access or deploy their software or tools in the different tiers of high-performance computing that we have in the UK, including tier 1 and tier 2. And finally, we support them to disseminate that training to others by producing materials in similar ways that I showed you before. And we are hoping that we can contribute to the Daria campus of the SSH marketplace so that it can have a wider opportunity to be disseminated beyond the UK. And that's my last slide. So I have now a lot of Buddha. You didn't have to do my last minute. Okay, thank you. So this is, I put you here, many of the logos of the institutions that we collaborate with in the UK, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome in CLARIN. It's impressive what you have done, just being a new center. But as far as I can see, you work mostly for the humanities, as many of us does. Do you have the strategy for going also to social sciences? To addressing, sorry.
Yeah, it's one of the things we've always found in the UK with the relationship with CLARIN and the European with the ERICS, in that there's quite a firm division in the funding situation in the UK between the arts and humanities and the social sciences have separate research councils. In order to get support for CLARIN, we were successful in persuading the Arts and Humanities Research Council to support us with less interest from the Economic and Social Research Council. So it is certainly the case that within in the UK, the focus is we're encouraged by our funders to focus on the arts and humanities rather than the social sciences, who are separate funding things. Having said that, linguistics is officially a cross-disciplinary, cross-funding council discipline in the UK, and so many of our partners that you can see here have linguistics and computational linguistics projects that are funded by Economic and Social Research Council, and also EPSERC for the hard sciences as well, and covers computer science. So that there are mechanisms for doing cross disciplinary stuff, but we are very much encouraged to focus more on the arts and humanities. Yeah.